welcome to the channel. This is Go Greddy, and welcome to the final race of the 2022-2023 Gran Turismo World Series Manufacturers Cup Exhibition Season number 2 here on Gran Turismo 7. Tonight, we are in the Group 3 cars in the wet at Fuji, and I need 300 points or better to move up the rankings. So stick around, check it out. If you remember the end of last race, I was trying to move up into 5th. I thought I needed 300 points to do so, but now you see I need 305 just to get to 7th. So got my work cut out for me as the lobby opens up, and well, it is chock full of fast guys. It is the top split for this slot. I believe it was like the 4th slot of the morning. I had a basketball game to go to there for the kiddo, so I missed the first few slots, which would be my opportunity to jump on some folks that didn't know what they're doing, so I missed that opportunity. And now here I am. I've got to go against the fast guys, and they've had time to practice. So I've got to put on the super strat here. I got to try and pull something out. We'll see if that works. So let's get on to qualifying. As I'm waiting to leave the pits, the first thing I'm going to do is look down the left-hand corner at track moisture. That's what that gauge there on the far left-hand side of your tires is. That is how much moisture is on the track. The bottom third, you can run the racing slicks. The middle third, you need to be on intermediates. The top third, you need to be on heavy wets. So as the gauge goes up, you got to get on a more progressively grippier water tire, I guess you should say, or could say. So again, bottom third, slicks are manageable. Middle third, intermediates manageable. Top third, you need to be on the heavy wets. If you try and take a slick into the second third, it's going to be really, really chancy. And if you take an intermediate into the top third, again, your risk level goes up with spitting out and crashing. So in this race, you can see we're in the middle range there of that second level of moisture. So you need to be on the intermediates, but it's getting down towards you might be able to get out on the slicks. Now watch, you'll see as I'm coming out of the corner here, I'm applying gas because I want to see what kind of grip I've got. I don't have traction control on, and this lap is not going to be the fastest lap. If you've done practice, you went in the time trials, you'll see the track is going to dry out as qualifying goes on. So what you really want to do is time it to where you're crossing the line with virtually no time left on the clock. So when you set that last lap, you cross with only like 1 second left. So you have, the track is the driest. Now, because I'm in a lobby of really fast people, not only do I know that these qualifying laps on the intermediates don't really matter, I'm just basically out here trying to get a feel for the track and the wetness for the race, just kind of goofing off. I don't think any of these laps that I'm about to do are going to set my qualifying time. What I believe is going to happen here is if I can cross the line with about 4 to 4.5 minutes is what I want to go into the pit here, put on the hard tires. It takes about 10, 20 seconds to put on the tires, come back out on the track. So leave me about 4 minutes left on the track. The first out lap, it will be very wet, so I don't expect to put in a fast lap time. I don't know how fast I can go on the hards with the track that wet. So if I can get around in 2 minutes, then that leaves me with 2 minutes to set my next hot lap, right? And then I can cross the line with under 2 minutes left, as close to 0 seconds as possible, so that my final lap, I'm on hot, hard tires, because I just did a blazer there on that second lap out. You have your out lap and then your first hot lap, so your second lap out. To get the tires good and warm, to be able to send it on that third lap on the hards, and I'll have hopefully gotten a little bit used to the track moisture while being on slicks with it being moist. So that's the gamble I'm taking. I'm rolling the dice here. I'm going to come in with about 4.5 minutes, and then I'm going to go back out, attempt to get around the track, and then set 2 hot laps after that. The first hot lap being kind of a throwaway, and the second hot lap being the one I've got to hang my hat on as hopefully the gamble that pays off. So let's get to that pit. I jump into the pits here with about 4:40 remaining because I got to switch my tires to hard, so it's taking time to do that. And then after I press the button to go, and then I hit a few wrong buttons, it's got to go. You got to come out down pit lane, and then when you finally get out of pit lane, then you can start your out lap. And I know it's wet. It's really wet. So I'm really not sure how long it's going to take me to get around the track. And I know that the slick tires are not going to be holding up really good on this lap. So I go to traction control 4 to help me get around the track. I see some traffic coming. These guys are on hot laps, so I want to get out of their way. So I move over to the right as soon as possible, not to hold up Myth Will there. Now I see another person coming up behind me, so I'm going to move way over to the left there, and I'm going to let this person by that looks like a Speed Freak. Yeah, that's Speed Freak. So he goes by on the inside, so I got out of his way in plenty of time. Now they're on intermediate tires, and they'll start setting something around a 143, 142 type of time. But I know that on the hard tires, if the track dries enough, I can set a 139 type lap. And so that would put me on pole in this lobby, which is what I really need. So I'm throwing it all out there, and I'm gambling. I'm hoping for the best. As you can see, the car is slipping all over the place with traction control 4 on. So I get out of Zach's way there, barely. I was trying to get over to the left there and get on the gas, get out of his way, and I almost spun out in front of him. So now we're coming around the technical section, and as I'm coming through the technical section, I see someone else coming. I'm like, no, oh, you poor guy, you got behind me on the slicks right here. So I'm just trying to get out of his way, and I spin out right there. And I'm like, oh, crap. That was not good. So that's okay, though. There's still time left on the clock. So I'm going to come back in the pits, and I'm going to wait. So I'm changing up my strategy now because it was just too wet. There was no grip. Even with traction control 4, I was spinning out. So now I'm going to wait till there's 2 minutes left. Then I'm going to go out on track and try and set a really fast-paced, hard lap on the hard tires, get them warmed up. So when I cross the finish line, like I said, with hopefully as close to 0 seconds as possible, but not 0. I want to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. I want to cross the finish line and then be able to set that hot lap with the track as dry as possible. So let's get back out on track and see what happens. I come back out here with about 1:50 left. And I'm like, that's really good time. I timed that about perfectly. If I can get around here in 1 minute and 49 seconds, 1:45 seconds, something like that, it's going to be right on the money. The track is going to be dry. Now you can see the rain gauge on the bottom left corner, the moisture level indicator. It's right there at that threshold line between the hards and the intermediates, the slick tires and the intermediate tires. So I'm like, all right, if it dries out even more by the time I get to the finish line, I might get this lap in perfectly to where I time it where I'm just crossing the line at the pristine time. Now I'm trying to get heat in the tires here because I know the hard tires grip better when they're warm, and I spit out. And luckily I did not hit whoever that was. It was maybe was that Mathis that went by there? I couldn't tell. But anyway, luckily I didn't hit him and give him damage. I'm trying. That's one way to get heat in your tires: spin the car around. So I do a little 360 action there. I thought that was pretty neat. I even caught it there and got it going the right direction at the end. So I spin it around. I'm coming around through the final section of the track, and I'm just like, man, there's just, the grip level still not what I think it should be. Like usually you can sling it around pretty good on the hard tires, and it grips up pretty nicely in the drying conditions for the GTR. The GTR actually does its best in that very intermediate zone when the track starts drying out. That's when the car feels like it's the fastest. In total moist conditions, I felt pretty comfortable with it, but just not like I did in that transitional stage. And then it was really hard, or when it was really dry, I didn't feel like the GTR had that much pace here at Fuji, especially in that technical section. Now, as I come around the final corner, I lose a little bit of the rear end, and guess who is behind me? Lester is behind me, and he's in that gold Porsche. I know who it is. I'm like, well, sorry, I crossed the line at the perfect time. 1 second left. Poor Lester crosses the line with 1 second left too, but now he's stuck behind me in the GTR. He's in the Porsche. He's really in the best car for this track, but I can't stop. I can't let him. I mean, I can let him by, but then I'd lose my qualifying lap. And he's going to try and set it here. I'm like, I'm sorry. I have to set my qualifying lap. So I have Lester. I'm basically racing Lester around the track now during qualifying, and he backs out. He's like, well, that's it. He knew that he couldn't improve his lap. He's in third already at the top there, you see. And I'm still struggling as I'm going around here. The grip, you can see the rear end coming around right there. I just cannot get the grip down. Trying to roll the throttle in, and it's just wanting to spin up. And right now I'm like, I wish I had just done all my qualifying on the mediums, because I think I could have done something in the 142s, maybe the 143, with the grip level that was here on the intermediate tire. But unfortunately, I'm now on the hards, And I am not feeling the grip that I was hoping I would be feeling that I experienced in those practice lobbies. Even though the rain gauge, the moisture level meter is dipping down below that third quadrant line, the GTR is just, I think it's because the tires are cold. I couldn't get that extra heating lap cycle in on the tires. They're just not gripping up for me. Now I come around the final corner here. I'm just trying to get that throttle down so I can get down this straightaway. And I'm looking at the time. I'm like, it's not going to be a good time. So I'm already at 40, 141, 142. Now, yeah, so pole's a 141.8, and that was set on intermediates. I should have stayed on those intermediate tires. I qualify in 12th to start this race. Got one more trick up my sleeve I'm going to pull to see if I can't do something here in this race. We'll see how that turns out. Race number 3, round 3, final race of the exhibition season. My last shot to get points to move up that manufacturer's rankings in Nissan. Trying to get that top 5, I think I was aiming for a top 50 in North America. So we will see how that all turns out then. Can I get my top 5 and my top 50? Oh, it's not looking good right now. As you can see, Silvestre in that MR Lambo around the outside. I get on the throttle here. I've got it floored. I do not have traction control on. GTR is pretty weak on the acceleration on the start here, and then fairly weak again coming out of that corner as the Lambo didn't have any trouble sticking right next to me there. So I lift a little bit, let him through. I didn't want to battle too much right here at the beginning. We were going to lose the pack. And I'm just aggravated with the starting acceleration of the GTR at the start of the race. So I looked down the inside here on him as he was doing the kind of same to me earlier. I probably shouldn't have stuck my nose in there. I probably should have just followed him around through the pack, just stayed on his bumper and stayed with the pack. But it looked like he was going to go wide, so I thought about sticking it down the inside. I pulled out of it a little late there. Get on the brakes there just at that overhead sign. And again, just looking down the inside, I didn't actually mean to stick my nose in there. But, he just came over, tapped me there. And we're not dead, but we are definitely falling back from the pack. All me right there. I was just in the wrong spot. Maybe he was probably cautiously braking so he didn't kill the people in front of him. So it's not like Silvestre is driving dirty with me right there. I was just sticking my nose in. Probably should not have, to be completely honest. I should have just followed him through the track, as this is the slow section for the GTR, that technical section. The MR cars and the Porsches, man, they really get through there quick. And I was struggling. That's where I was losing time to pretty much everybody was right there in that very technical section. I usually made up a little bit of time in the front half of the track, then I lost a good chunk of time on that back half of the track. And I thought it was the GTR, and then I switched into one of the MR cars and went around the track, and I wasn't struggling nearly like I was in this vehicle. Now, on to lap number 2. I am dead last. So my strategy is now going to be, I'm going to pit early, and I am going to see if I can't sneak in a couple laps on the racing hards and pick up some time on these boys. Now, this did not work out too well for me in qualifying. I am aware of this, but you know what? You got to do something when you're in dead last. And just standing here running laps at the back of the pack, that's not really what I enjoy doing. I like to be in the mix at least a little bit. Get some excitement, get the blood flowing a tiny little bit. So plan is to hopefully come in as soon as I think that rain gauge has gone down just enough to be able to survive on the hard tires. Now you're going to see here, I'm going to brake here at the Dunlop sign. I come down, and I am just out braking Silvestre right there. I'm easily making the apex. And I don't know if the Lambo just doesn't have good brakes or what the deal was, but it seemed like he was really slow on the brakes there into that corner. Not really sure what the deal was, but not that it really matters. He's about to pull away from me here in the technical section once again. He's probably super aggravated with me. I wasn't actually meaning to send it right there, but I still saw the door was open and I was out braking him, so I said, I may as well go ahead and stick it down in there and see what happens. Yeah, probably a little bit hopeful there in that I would have made a move, and it wasn't super duper clean. It was pretty much a dive bomb, if I'm gonna be completely honest. I'd be aggravated if someone's doing it to me. I'd be like, be patient. But I'm in last. He's in second to last. It's not like we're gonna move up into the top 5 from back here, unless like the whole front of the field just completely collapses. But I do have an alternative plan, an alternative strategy I'm going to try. So let's fast forward a little bit and see when I put that into practice. Here we are, end of lap number 3. And Gretty's feeling some traction underneath him on the intermediate. So I've decided now is the time. I'm at the back of the pack, so I've got the driest track. I have a drier track than anyone. So it's going to dry out even more when I go into the pit. So I said, let's do it. Let's send it. Let's go in there. Let's try something. Let's not just sit on our hands and just take it. Let's move the needle. Yeah. Pit crew's excited. They're like, come on, Gretty, bring it in. Bring it in. We're going to put the hards on. We're going to put the racing slicks on. We're going to send you back out there. And you are going to destroy the competition with your racing hard slick tires. And look at that. Here come the intermediates come off. The hards go on. Factory team sends me back out, cheering me on. Only Nissan in the race. The only one with the wherewithal to send the non-OP car against all of these MRs and Porsches that are out here. I'm not afraid. No, Gretty does not back down from a challenge. Never. So we are out there. We're in traction control 1. Now that is afraid. That is showing some fear. I'm on TCS 1 because I know this track is wet and I do not want to spin out. As you can see, it's saving me a little bit there as I'm applying the throttle, and it's saving. Look at it. You can see the little red tip just spinning up and down there as it's fighting the tire spin, trying to save me from dying as I come around these corners. I almost lose it right there, but I gather it back up. I need the track to dry up quickly because I need to put in these fast laps while these guys are not on the hard tires. So as you see now, the level's dropping down to where it's like, oh, Gretty's going to start setting some fast times. Now you're going to see some other folks start to come into the pits here soon. But so I got to make up any ground I can with those folks out in front to try and move up into that position I need for 305 points, which means I need 2 things to happen. I need to do really good on my next couple laps, and I need everyone in front of me to crash. That's basically the plan right now. I don't know if that's a good plan or not, but look, as you see, the pit lane is filling up with all the folks coming in to get off these intermediates. All right, the folks that did stop and pit were pretty high up in the order there. As you can see, they're going around the corner. Now, you remember I was really close to the pack when I pitted, so the folks that were right behind, they stayed out another lap, but these folks were further up the grid, and they pitted 1 lap after me. You can see how much ground I caught up to them, and look at this. Gretty has even got a purple sector, so if I'm getting purple sectors, that means it's paying off for me having pitted 1 lap earlier. So we'll see here after the next lap if it really paid big dividends. All right, cross the line going on to lap 6, and yes, you are seeing correctly. Go Gretty has the fastest lap right there. You've seen it. And to top it off, I even picked up a Gretty passes. I don't know what happened to Spartan Balisi there as he was in the pits like forever. I mean, let's take a look at. Well, I don't need to take a look at it. He was just in the pits for maybe he had to go to the bathroom or something. I don't know, but he pitted way earlier than we did, and he came out behind us there. So pick up the Gretty pass. Got more purple sectors coming up. Things are looking up for Gretty's. I have moved from dead last to second to last. things are looking in the right direction. Maybe if we get lucky, this group of cars in front of us will either get really slow or just crash into each other, and we can go by. I don't know. Not likely, but anything is possible in Gran Turismo 7, so let's see what happens. Entering the technical section of the track at the end of the lap here on lap number 8, you can see the group is just tantalizingly close, about 3 seconds out in front of me. I just can't seem to catch up to the pack. It's like every time I'll start to get closer to them and I get into the section, I'll fall right back. But as I come around the corner, I notice smoke everywhere. And I see someone spinning out, get the yellow flag. I go by, and it is USR Silvestre. And so let's go see what happened there. Again, as we're entering the technical section at the end of this lap number 8, Silvestre gets into the back of Speed Freaks, pushes him wide, goes by on the inside. Speed Freaks says, I don't think so. We're not going to do the push to pass. Takes him out. Oh, my goodness. And I get a Gretty pass. So some spicy racing up in front of us puts USR Silvestre at the back of the pack. And Gretty has moved up a spot into P11. I don't think I'm anywhere near that 300 plus points that I need, but we've got 8 laps to see what we can do. And we've got Spartan Belisi 1.1 seconds behind me. So who knows if I can even hold on to this P11 before the race is over. Let's get closer to the end and see what happens. Lap number 13, again, heading towards my weakness. I got Spartan Belisi on my tail. He sends it down the inside. I leave him enough room on the outside. He backs out of the move. I think he knows he's got me coming out of the final corner onto the straight, looking like he's just getting ready to set me up to take it over, as he has run me down pretty good in a short amount of time. Right on old Gretty's rear bumpers, we come into the final right-hander. I set it up wide, going to come across, try and carry some speed. He is coming right in behind me as we go over. He goes into the Soylent Green, where race car drivers' dreams go to die. And rip Spartan Belisi. He was a good racer, but in the end, not good enough. Gretty goes on, still in P11. Will anyone else challenge me for this spot near the back of the pack? Again, let's fast forward to find out. Here we are, final lap, back into the technical section. Silvestre has made a comeback now within 1 second as we head through the final section. The final few corners, can I hold him off to the finish line? Into the left-hander, the penultimate turn before the final right-hander, before the long straight, down to 8/10 as the MR car trying to make a run at me there. Gets close to the rear bumper through the final corner, gets within 5/10. It's not going to be close enough, as I will be able to hold him off and maintain this highly coveted, highly sought after P11. That's double ones, folks. That's first place times 2. It's 11. I crossed the finish line. It was terrible. Boy, that's when a good strategy goes bad right there, folks. Yeah, nothing good came of that race. So the question, I'm sure that you're just eating you up inside, is, Gretty, how did you finish overall? Well, fear not, I have the results right now for you. Let's check those out. First of all, the 197 points I got from this race did not help my standings. You take the best round of the 3 rounds. So you see my total there, 291 points. So that's 50th in North America. Puts me 8th there for Nissan. See me down there in 8th. Unfortunately, did not move up in Nissan. And puts me 8th on the friends list as well. So good job to all my friends out there who raced. Hope you enjoyed the season. Hope you had a good one. Hope you were pretty happy with the results. And I hope you that watched this video enjoyed it, enjoyed the action, enjoyed the commentary. I'll be back when the official season starts. I may even drop some tutorial races in some point for AI. Who knows? Stick around, find out, hit the like and or subscribe so you don't miss anything. For myself, Go Gretty. Y'all have a great evening.